is a video I'm making for Guy on Perkins, and we'll just go ahead and make this part of the Kirk movie series. And so basically what Guy, the problem he had is, if you notice right in here, someone stood in front of his auxiliary flash and created this really weird shadow that's happening over the bride's dress. Alright, so what are we going to do with this? Well, I think, looking at this, that our only choice is double process. So the first thing I'm going to go for is I'm just going to forget what the bride and groom looks like, and I'm just going to focus on right here in the dress. And I'm gonna, because I have a few presets set up inside Photoshop, I'm just going to go default on all, and I like the little vignette, so I'm going to go ahead and process this my way. I'm going to take it down here. I'm going to take the highlights down. I start getting some detail in that dress. I'm going to take the shadows up a little bit. I'm going to take the blacks and shadows. The shadows, excuse me, the other one was blacks that I did. I'm going to take clarity up just a little bit right in there. Now, personally, I'm seeing a lot of blue inside this dress. So I'm going to come over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, the HLS grayscale slider, and I'm going to come over to the saturation slider. I'm going to take and I'm going to desaturate the blue, because I know there's no blue in skin. So watch, I'm going to saturate it up a lot. Look how much blue. See where all that blue is showing up in her dress? So I'm going to desaturate that, not quite completely, but just a good portion of the way. Now that's going to clean up the dress. So now on the highlight side, I'm starting to get nice highlights in the dress. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at the bride and groom. They're kind of dark, so we might have to triple process. So at this point, I'm going to go open image. It's going to open it up inside Photoshop. And I'm just going to, you know, just for the sake of time, I'm sure it's going to not open up really, really fast, of course. Okay. All right, there we go. So I'm just going to go File, Save As. I'm going to go Shadow Fix. 01, we're putting it where? On the desktop. JPEG, save. Alright, and let's say 12, just for the nicety of it. Alright, so now we've got a nice dress color. I'm going to close that. Go back to Bridge. Now when I open up this image in Adobe Camera Raw, it remembers where I left off. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure the skin tones are looking good. I'm going to forget about the bride's dress. I'm going to really focus in on their skin tone. So I find the skin tones a little dark, so I'm going to lighten up here. I'm going to take the shadows up a little bit, bring some clarity in there, take my exposure up just a wee bit, and about right in there. I'm feeling pretty good about that. I am on a laptop, so I'm feeling like maybe my color might be off just a tad bit, but it should be pretty close. I'm going to click Open Image. Open it up in Photoshop again, and after it opens up in Photoshop, I'm gonna go File, Save As, Shadow Fix. We're gonna call this 02. We're gonna put this on the desktop. JPEG, save, quantity of a 12, and close. Now I'm gonna go back to it one more time, Adobe Camera Raw. Now I'm going to open up this image, and this time I'm really focusing in on the shadow area, okay? So I'm going to have to take the exposure way up. But now what I'm doing, before I do that, I'm remembering what the highlight area looks like, and I'm going to try to kind of get it close. I'm not going to get it exact, but I'm going to try to kind of get it close. I'm going to take it up a little bit there with the highlights, a little bit with the whites. I'm going to take the black area up. I'm going to take the shadow area up. Just like that. And now right in there, I'm getting kind of close. Making that about there. Right there. Okay, it's not exact, but it is really close. Now, of course, after a triple process like that... sorry, I closed it. Let me open that back up so I can open it up in Photoshop. Did it open in Photoshop? Where is it? Is it opening? Yeah, it's opening. So after it opens up in Photoshop, we will have 3 different images. Alright? So there it is. 3 images. Now let me go open up the other 2. Shadow Fix. Wrong one. Sorry about that, gang. I'm trying to go as fast as I can with this. Shadow Fix number 2. And then File, Shadow Fix number 1. Okay, so now, first thing I want to do is I'm going to match up all these different layers. So I'm going to drop this here. I can close this. Don't need it anymore. I'm going to take this one. I'm going to drop it in here. Alright, so now all three layers are, if you notice, on one document. So we're going to go one step at a time. On this document, I have skin tones, but on the one underneath, I have the dress. So let's work on that first. So we'll go ahead and create a layer mask. And we're going to paint with black so that we paint back in the dress. Okay? And again, I might be doing this a little kind of fast and sloppy, but I think y'all will get the point of it. Okay? So I'm painting in the dress on the highlight side, and just like that, picking up some more detail in the dress. Okay? Good. Like that. I'm liking that. Alright, here we go. Let's look at it. Let's go before and after. Oh, excuse me. Before and after. Look, we're picking up the dress right there. Okay, so now I'm going to take that, flatten that in. Now what I want to do, when I paint in the shadow side, if you notice this is the shadow side. Instead, I just want to paint in the shadow side. So I'm going to turn the background layer into layer 0, and I'm going to drop that highlight side underneath it. I'm going to drop in another layer mask, and now in small segments I'm going to paint in at about, let's go 30%. I think that's going to look right. At about 30%, I can just get right up on the edge of that shadow. Again, I don't have my Wacom tablet here. I'm kind of going portable. It would be much cleaner at the studio with the Wacom tablet. Like that. Let me drop my opacity down even more. Clean up this little shadow area. Like that. Let's go up in here. Clean up this shadow area. Let's clean up that shadow area. And how about this little shadow area? Let's try to make that blend a little bit better. Now there's one more little trick I'm going to show you there, guy, to kind of clean this up. And again, this really is, I'm sorry, but this is a fast and somewhat sloppy job. But you're going to have the luxury, guy, of the before and the after that the customer is not going to have the luxury of. The customer is only going to have the after. Alright, there we go. Now it's starting to look pretty good. Let's clean this up right in here. Now the one last little trick, just to show you before how much we cleaned up. We picked up all of these areas. See that? Alright, let me flatten that down. And the last little trick I'm going to want to show you, let me absolutely flatten it. Okay, the last little trick I want to show you is to take your dodge tool and using mid-tones, really drop the exposure way down to, say, like somewhere around 10%. Check protected tones, and then I want you to rub in on some of these shadow side, this shadow side. Alright, like that. Clean that up. Okay, now let's look at the whole image. If we go completely before, this is before we started, and this is after. This is completely before, and if this is completely after, you'll notice that it's not that bad. Now, me personally, I would, recrop this thing. I would also take my burn tool. I would burn this area down somewhere in here. I'd raise that up about that high. I'd burn this area in here to kind of make it sort of match this dark side over here, and I burn this area down here, and I just kind of blend this whole thing together. Keep blending like this. And this is, unfortunately, in my opinion, your only hope for fixing this image. I'm going to go ahead and send you this image the way you see it here. Maybe if you want from here, you can kind of clean it up some more. But if you look at it from where it is now, here we go one more time. Completely before and completely after. It's really not that bad. So hopefully this helps someone else. If y'all got any questions, by all means ask. Thanks for hanging out on the Pro Forum. Bye-bye.